Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon. My name is Anuj Sachdeva. I'm the Chief Executive here at Clovity. We are actually in Kerasoft headquarters here in Reston. It's very warm outside. No, I'm just kidding. It's all snow outside here.
And ice.
And ice. I'm joined by two fine gentlemen here, Arjuna. I'll let Arjuna introduce himself, and Cameron, who and I work closely at Clovity, but I'll let these guys introduce, and then maybe I'll talk a little bit about what we are covering today.
Awesome. Thank you, Anuj. My name is Arjuna Rivera. I am a Principal Solutions Engineer here at Atlassian, based here in the Washington, D.C. area, and excited to be here on this podcast. Cameron?
Well, thanks for joining us. Hey everybody, I'm Cameron Starman. I am a SVP for Clovity. Again, like Anuj said, we are a platinum solution provider. I focus on the consulting elements, while my partner here focuses on the delivery, and together we are helping modernize and bring forward a lot of different platforms. So excited to have some strategic Q&A today, because honestly, this is a space where I'm actually interested in learning more. So I'm along the ride with you all as we kind of shoot some questions Arjuna's way. So,
yeah.
Anuj?
So what we're covering today, folks, is basically, as you know, data center is end of life. So there are multiple choices customers have, right? Whether they could move on to cloud, and even cloud, there is cloud premium, there is cloud enterprise, then there's Atlassian Government Cloud, which most of you guys know, it's the FedRAMP product. And then soon to be, which is already sort of in the beta right now, is isolated cloud. So we're going to cover the whole gamut, both from the perspective of what the customer journey could be, which is potentially looking at it, but also we'll talk a little bit about if there's a standalone customer which is moving from another product, what are their choices on the table and what they should consider. I'll start with the with Arjuna. Arjuna, what's how are you seeing this transition from, like, since Atlassian announced? I know it's been an influx last year. How has the journey been so far, and where do you see from now with more and more things coming in terms of the roadmap? How is the journey going to be from a customer perspective?
Yeah, that's a lot there. that's a lot. So we'll see how we can break this down a bit. So to your point, right, back in September, Atlassian announced the Ascend program, Ascend to the cloud, if you will, and really what that meant was our announcement around our data center end of life. Specifically, data center will be end of life as of March of 2029. So our customers have responded in several ways, right? They have been like, okay, I have been sitting on the fence on data center. It's been working well for us. Not necessarily ready to make that jump to cloud. So we're incentivizing them a little bit with that announcement. Within my book of business, I support our federal systems integrators as well as the public sector Canadian government. And there they have a different need as it relates to data protection, national security, and so forth. So they definitely have expressed interest in our Atlassian Government Cloud, which has been authorized at the FedRAMP moderate level, as well as a future commitment by Atlassian for a FedRAMP High, a DoD SRG Impact Level 5 environment, so that they can process U.S. data as it relates to export control information, ITAR information, have only U.S. persons support. So again, higher level of compliance as it relates to being able to process that data in the cloud. So all in all, there's been a mix. There have been customers who are like, okay, finally we're gonna move to cloud, commercial cloud, and we could go into more details if you want to go there on the commercial side. We have customers who are like, I have data that meets the FedRAMP moderate level, and then I have customers who are waiting for specifics on our roadmap on when we will be delivering FedRAMP High IL5 in the future between now and 2029.
Wow, no, that's thank you, Arjuna. That's an amazing summary, actually. So, and are you seeing when you're approaching? You said state and local is one aspect. There's federal SI is one aspect. There's Canadian is third aspect.
Yeah.
Right. Are you seeing sort of the demand being different, like state and local are more inclined to a certain product versus sort of Fed SIs, or for that matter Fed Civ, inclined to a certain product? Are you seeing that difference? And how do you sort of, when you are talking to a customer, how do you sort of gauge that from that perspective, which customer is better off going to what?
Absolutely. We have what we've developed, qualification guides. First, to ensure that a particular customer qualifies for AGC. So we have, I would say, relatively strict requirements. You have to be doing business with the U.S. government, either federal or state level. You have to have a need for that level of data protection. So do you have contracts requiring you to process your data in a FedRAMP moderate environment? We do have some customers who are like, I just feel like it's better security. And like, our commercial cloud security is world class, first and foremost. I like to talk in terms of compliance, like not necessarily security, but compliance. What are you required to do? Do you have a SOC 2 requirement? Do you have HIPAA, GDPR, FedRAMP moderate? So some customers are like, no, we don't have any of that, but we still want to go in AGC. And I was like, okay. There is a premium, right, for that investment, and then the conversations usually then go back. Okay, show me commercial. what can I get on the commercial side? So it's a mix in general. So we typically will follow the data. Like, what are those contractual requirements? What are those data protection requirements? And then we offer them. Okay, well, that qualifies you for either AGC or commercial enterprise if you have those business requirements, or premium or standard on the commercial side.
Got it. And Cameron, maybe it might be a good question for you. I know you talk to a lot of customers, but where do you see the difference between cloud premium and cloud enterprise? How sort of the customer views both of them? I know you're working with few customers in California. So
No, I mean, great point. I think you do need to be strategic. It really does oftentimes, again, go down to compliance, right? Like, what do you need your admin? Like, the really where your enterprise shines, right, is your multi-site, right? Being able to kind of differentiate and ensure, you're basically creating swim lanes with the different sites, or like from like an org perspective, right? And I'm not an admin myself, but I just know that there's a lot more fine tuning that you can do within enterprise, right? Obviously, you get the enhanced elements of analytics and stuff like that, but that also takes some practice and some dedication in terms of setting that up, right, and understanding what you want. So, but just from that perspective, I do think enterprise is a superior product, but from a crawl, walk, run type thing, like you can always get there as you mature, right? So I think right sizing yourself initially is always really important. But I did have a question, because I know obviously we're talking FedRAMP today. In that sequence that you were kind of describing, and when you're kind of doing the trade-offs with these different groups, isolated cloud is now there, right? And I think that's something I'm curious, honestly, in knowing more, at least just in terms of the strategy of like when do we look at that, right? Is that just really hyper secure environments, but like maybe less compliance, and also Anuj, I know you were wondering like kind of what that code base looks like, right?
Because I mean, just to add, and I know my interest in this topic is, and honestly it'll be good for the audience as well, because there's limited information, because the choices are only like, there is commercial cloud standard, there is commercial cloud premium, there is commercial cloud enterprise. From my understanding, there is obviously AGC FedRAMP, which is technically enterprise, but it's actually another flavor of enterprise. It's not like the complete enterprise. What is then isolated cloud? How does it, if I'm the customer, if I have to go propose as a partner, right, where do they fit in? Is there a use case, like you said, there's a sort of methodology to how do you qualify a customer that this could be a customer for? Is there a minimum licensing requirement? And I know it's we saw yesterday Rob Bissett making an announcement talking a little bit about it. So if you can double click on that would be great.
Absolutely. Yeah, so when you think of isolated cloud, because we've had several customers are like, hey, with the end of data center, is isolated cloud an option for us? And some of their thinking, I mean, we have a lot of information posted online, but some of their thinking is isolated cloud means that it's a customer managed solution that they can run on their environment. and it's not.
No.
So today, just to kind of break down from not to get too technical, but from a cloud
let's
kind of
get
one-on-one. Let's get technical. All right, let's talk VPCs. And,
I see. I'm kidding. Okay.
so today, like with most SaaS and most cloud-oriented environments, you're in a multi-shared environment, right? So from a tenancy standpoint, you share a common database layer, you share a common app layer, and so forth. We had several customers, large-scale customers, who were like, we're not comfortable with living in a multi-tenant environment. What can Atlassian do for us? So this is where we worked with them and developed what we called Isolated. So kind of from a layman's terms perspective, Isolated is just a single tenant opportunity for customers versus being in a multi-tenant. So say Clovity is a 100,000 person company. They have at least at a minimum of wanting 20,000 users in Jira. You are processing some very highly sensitive, confidential information, and you don't want to process that data in a multi-tenant environment. That's where Isolated Cloud comes in.
Okay.
Technically, we give you a VPC that you live in. You have your own database, you have your own app layer, you have your own control plane, all within this kind of virtual private cloud.
Nice.
That you and only your data lives in. So when you think about multi-tenancy versus single tenancy, that's the big answer around Isolated Cloud, is that you're buying a single tenant of our entire tech stack. It's all the commercial. I don't know if it's 100% all the commercial products. I have to go back and look. I think it's a subset of our commercial products that's delivered in that Isolated Cloud environment.
I'll forget this is amazing. So does that include Rovo?
I don't know 100% what the latest is.
And then is there a minimum license requirement from a customer perspective?
There is. I think last time I saw, I think it was close to maybe 20,000.
So 20,000 users basically.
That makes sense. So it's a big. You're these like that's where you're quoting the $100,000 or 100,000 user
Yeah.
or
Jira,
company.
Confluence, JSM, all can go.
Yeah. From a core products
Product
standpoint,
person.
that I know for sure is in there
And
today.
how is marketplace being handled in that space?
Yeah, so great question. So the marketplace apps, and I don't know technically what that looks like, but the marketplace apps are the same commercial apps that you find in the commercial marketplace today.
But it'll be deployed in more like closed environment.
Right.
Is my understanding.
Yeah, assuming it can't also
No.
ferry in and out.
So-
It's a little like a FedRAMP boundary.
That
but
raises another question. A lot of marketplace apps, I don't want to name any, but also send data externally. That's how they deliver. What happens in this case? I mean,
There's definitely more flexibility from a data sharing
than the
standpoint
FedRAMP
than say
element.
the FedRAMP, right?
That
So
makes
from
sense.
a FedRAMP
I see.
standpoint, we're managing the ingress and egress to our AWS East and West, and that's it.
I see.
You see what I'm saying? So Isolated is still it's a version of commercial,
Right.
but just think in terms of instead of a shared environment and a multi-tenancy, it's just a single
Single
tenancy.
tenant.
That makes
And
sense.
I'm assuming, again, it comes with a DR plan.
DR from disaster recovery.
Yeah.
I mean, just recently we have in beta, I believe, a backup and restore option that we're working through. Again, a lot of it is still customer managed, like it would. Like so, if you want to add on to what Atlassian offers from a RPO, RTO standpoint, from a recovery standpoint, what I'm saying? We still have customers who go third-party marketplace to find other ways to also offload their data, to still be able to do their backup solutions where they see fit.
And where does ITP sits in this one? Like, because one of the key components, as you know, in commercial, and I know yesterday we talked a little bit about external users getting access. Is that possible in this thing, or it has to be on
It's similar to, it's more closely to commercial.
I see.
We've
Got
done
it. Got
to
it.
meet the compliance requirements of
I
FedRAMP.
see.
It's a little bit of a different animal. Yeah.
Got it. So it's more okay. I see.
Which is why we tell customers who are highly regulated that if you're looking for compliance, you still need
Would-
FedRAMP, because when we talk about FIPS validation, when we talk about compliance to the NIST controls, all of that, again, think in terms of isolated as just a slice of commercial. You know what I'm saying?
I know it's probably a like a far shoot question here. Why can't we take a cloud, which is what you said, and deploy it in the AWS IL5 environment? Is that not possible?
Oof.
Because
You were there yesterday. we will leave those kind of questions to our heads of regulated industries.
no, because you
Come
said
on, it's
cloud,
just a lift and shift, right?
Yeah.
cloud
It's just a
commercials.
lift
I
and
was
shift.
like, why can't that be? I know, I understand.
Yeah.
As I said, it was a little bit of I had this in
All I
mind.
can say is we have committed to a FedRAMP High IL5 cloud offering.
And the additional last question on this
Sure.
specific thing is, who manages the infrastructure here? Atlassian manages it, or the customer manages it?
Yeah, so again, it's a virtual private cloud that we stand up and set up for
So
the customer. You know what I'm saying? They still have their org admins
I got
that
it.
log in through Guard. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's just it's everything you love about Atlassian Commercial Cloud today, just for the fact that it's a single tenant versus living in a multi-tenant
That's
kind
it.
of universe.
So I think that clarifies it out. So it's really, now I see. So a lot of basically, if DoD or FedSI was to consider, which typically will go into a sort of an IL moderate, IL high, this doesn't fit them.
No,
This
it
is
does not. It does not meet the compliance requirements like you would in FedRAMP
That helps.
or NIST controls. You know what I'm saying? All of that.
Are you seeing more use cases though for isolated? Like obviously it has to be a rather large entity, but for the most part, it kind of to me skews maybe a little more enterprise, like banking or healthcare or somewhere where they really want their own tenant
sure.
kind of a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But I guess I could still see where there's elements where you may not need FedRAMP, but say you're a specific HHS of a state, right? Where as long as you're meeting the HIPAA and as long as you can say, look, hey, we have our own isolated cloud, we have enough users, that makes sense without needing that FedRAMP element. And so you're
Agreed,
still giving
agreed.
you that flexibility, but giving also just maybe more at the end of the day, people sleeping a little more soundly.
Well, I mean, you saw yesterday we announced that we're also going to, from a compliance standpoint, support text ramp and state
Yeah.
ramp. You know what I'm saying? So we're wanting to kind of check the box on more of these compliance related types of items to enable our customers who just want to, to your point, I just need to check the box. Right? Is this state ramp certified?
Yeah.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? So
This is very helpful. So for the audience, basically now I understand. I always used to think that this is an alternate. This is actually a net new vertical, basically, for Atlassian.
for sure.
Well, just like AGC, because there will be customers who either are migrating, but also now we are seeing as a partner, we are onboarding customers on AGC which are net new, which have not been on Atlassian. This is a net new opportunity, actually, almost like a new business unit, which will create more revenue stream. Makes sense. And what are the timelines? I mean, I know you're sort of looking at beta customer, but what are the timelines to actually it goes in the market full blown?
Yeah, I'm thinking about when I have so many different GA, kind of general availabilities out there.
Just say them all and we'll cut out the ones.
We'll say, yeah, I don't want to misspeak here. But I know that they've had the early access program for isolated cloud. We also supported a design partnership around it. So with customers, kind of got their inputs on how do we, help design this. I'm gonna go with something generic, it's close.
And when you say cloud commercial, can the customer has a choice to go premium versus enterprise in this?
I don't know the answer to that. I do think that it's one solution only.
Okay.
So we have to look at that and see.
I bet
if
it's probably
a,
enterprise, just how Atlassian normally kind of
And maybe
sets
that,
their higher
that,
offerings.
that I don't know, unless Cameron, maybe we can switch topic. It'll be good for, like I said, I know AGC enterprise is different to a commercial enterprise. For the audience, it'll be helpful for you to mention how is it different, and especially I think most of us want to know when is AI coming in.
Well, that I'm going to give you the short answer, because again, I'm not the head of regulated industries. It's on the roadmap. It will be, and again, it's challenging because a lot of my customers are like, I don't want AI. And then I have another set of customers, right? More the tech disruptors, right? The tech defense disruptors are like, we want AI.
Yeah.
So we're kind of caught in the middle, but it is on the roadmap. Again, as was mentioned yesterday, we're looking to reach feature parity across Jira, Confluence, and Jira Service Management to include like AI and so forth. So it's on the roadmap, and we don't have any specific dates for it, but it will be coming. And much like today in commercial, you as an admin can enable or disable it based on your requirements. So we'll be looking for something similar. We don't typically call like AGC enterprise or commercial enterprise, right? AGC in itself is one SKU, one product, which is built. It's built on enterprise. Commercial customers have an opportunity to say, hey, I only need this level of solution. So it could be standard, it could be premium. And then for enterprises, that's where we see customers who want the analytics, they want the data warehouse, they want unlimited storage, they want to increase their automation, workflow automation rules, they want
more sandboxes.
Guard already included in enterprise. So that's why with AGC, we never really refer to it as enterprise. We do explain to our customers that it's built on the enterprise plan. So Guard is included, unlimited storage is included, multi-sites up to 150 sites. All of the goodness that you see in commercial enterprise is there and available for you on AGC. There are some differences to your point, like there's no AI. Some of the workflow automations are a little bit different as it relates to what's in commercial, just because of what we have instituted in AGC to meet compliance with FedRAMP monitoring. So there's some minor differences, but overall, the feedback for our customers who have joined AGC has overall been positive, and they understand that this is a very good product for us. And we're still maturing and developing it.
So I know like CMMC also has levels. So is there a consideration for the customer whether from a CMMC level or what they have to be at to look at enterprise versus AGC, or they typically have to go even level 1 is sort of it's inclined towards AGC?
No, that's a great question. I've seen a mix. So today, right, I'm hearing a lot of customers like, hey, I need CMMC V2, we're going to V3, we're having to certify to our end customer that we're meeting these. We're in the process right now with an Atlassian standpoint. I've seen some of the project plan as it relates to on the journey to get the CMMC certification. I believe it's the V2. But again, it's a lot of it is also interpretation, because I do have customers that say, instead, in lieu of CMMC, we're going to go enterprise with CMK. Like we're going to be able to manage and encrypt our, leverage our own encryption keys. So does that meet? Because they're negotiating with their contracting officer on like, does this meet the spirit or the letter of the requirement? So they find ways to be able to kind of.
So some of that is a negotiation, basically.
A little, in my experience,
it has
been
the DoD basically.
Oh, the contracting officer, whoever they're working with. Right.
And does that also mean they could stay on cloud commercial enterprise or premium if their negotiations have gone sort of?
Potentially. It's hard to say. Like I said, it's something that some customers are like, we were able to work out with,
I see.
with our contracting officer, that if we could show this level of security management and compliance, that we may be able to use these workloads in commercial. Some others may need to go into a FedRAMP,
I got it. Switching topics, I didn't realize, but actually Canada is a good example. So how do you see, first of all, Canadian demands different to US? And then is there a flavor of AGC expected in Canada? or the only choices they have, again, in the cloud commercial space?
Yeah, so I also support the Canadian public sector. I'll give a shout out to my AE, Mike Grimm. We are kind of a small team, a small and mighty team to support. So we see very similar data and business requirements as you see here in the States. The difference is that they have data classification levels. So today when we talk about like controlled unclassified information or controlled technical information or controlled defense information, we talk about export control information and so forth. It's a little bit simplified in some ways, where they do have the same secret, top secret categories, but they also have what they call protected data status. So protected, like they have unclassified, right? So they can use our commercial cloud if they have all unclassified data. They have what's called protected A, which is their lowest protected status of data. And it's a long definition, but the...
And this is more Canadian jargon.
Yes, this is all Canadian, right. So protected A is kind of the minimum, similar to what I would consider like a FedRAMP low.
I was about to say, it's
Okay.
like FedRAMP. Yeah.
So when you think in terms of like, will this information cause X type of impact to Canadian citizens and governments, it goes from protected A as kind of minor, and then protected B is maybe major, and then protected C is like grave, right? Like critical, grave, like national security.
Well,
So that's
L5
why I refer to think of protected A like FedRAMP low, protected B closer to like a moderate getting to high, and then protected C is your like high getting into more of that classified.
So that's like top, so like secret, and then maybe 4 is like top
As
secret.
you get it, yeah.
above.
And again,
Okay.
that's just my personal, for all our listeners, my personal opinion of how I've kind of broken it down for people as we kind of
We'll
talk
leave your
through this.
email here for people to in case they have any questions.
But that's where we're at, where like we have a ton of organizations who are in data center. They have to be on data center due to the nature of some of the business that they're doing. And then others who need a unclassified or protected A status, and then the others who need protected B. So we're working internally to work with organizations within Canada to get sponsors, to go through the process, to be able to achieve those protected
So
statuses.
basically, there's an AGC equivalent expected in your future. Protected A, B, I mean, might be a incremental.
And not necessarily a single solution to meet those requirements.
Got it.
It may be that what we have today from a commercial cloud standpoint meets those protected data statuses. It's just we have to go through the process of the review
regulation.
process.
Got it.
Okay,
got it.
so-
That's a very interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So fingers crossed that as we kind of go on this journey of protected data statuses, that hopefully everything we have in commercial meets those controls.
I'm learning a lot today.
Just want to take a second and run that back and just cut out for about 5 seconds in the middle of your speech.
Okay.
How far back you think?
It was just like 15 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Protected data.
Okay.
Uh,
So I'll start here. So in regards to, we're on the journey to understand what controls our commercial cloud offering will meet the protected data statuses. So they may not need a separate solution like Atlassian Government Cloud. We may be able to meet their needs on our current controls, and then kind of determine what additional controls we may need to apply in commercial cloud to meet those protected data statuses.
wow. That's I've learned a lot. I know you had a question. I do have one more follow-up question.
No, I actually didn't have a question. I just by the way. So we'll cut this part
No,
out.
I-
But we should let's move towards a close for our agenda.
I do have one additional question, Arjuna. Thank you, by the way. This is enlightening. Right. So, with the introduction of Rovo, and which is maturing by the hour,
Yes.
right? What I was seeing the Atlas thing in Amsterdam yesterday. I saw there was a mini conference basically.
Okay.
I think you guys are doing this Atlas conference or something like that.
I'm not
But
familiar.
nevertheless, what do you suggest to the marketplace guys? Because a lot of traditional marketplace was built with gaps which existed, which are now being addressed by Rovo.
Okay.
Right? How do you perceive now if I was like we are a marketplace developer, we also have AGC apps now. We have 5 AGC apps, but in general, if I was looking at as sort of holistically, where should I draw the line? Especially now with Rovo's roadmap, Rovo in consideration, and strictly from a point of cloud. I understand AGC doesn't have it, so there's a gap which you can keep building, but more from an enterprise or cloud commercial perspective.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. You're giving me some good ones. Yeah, I mean, just to kind of wrap here, when I think about kind of the cottage industry that was developed when Atlassian, had delivered server and then to data center, and because it was an open ecosystem, a lot of developers, and similar today to like AWS, iPhone, Android, like you name it, right? Why does this app exist, right? Because either the vendor or the manufacturer didn't decide it was a feature or capability that they wanted to invest in. So a lot of times I'm like, it's not necessarily a gap, but more of third-party marketplace vendors having ideas of how they can improve upon what we have delivered, from a solution standpoint.
Add value.
Right, add value, exactly. And then there are some cases where they're like, I really wish you had X, and we're not developing fast enough, or, decided that it wasn't a priority, and they went ahead and kind of decided to do it on their own.
That's risky, though. Because you're building, like, Atlassian's coming out with that extra.
Yeah,
like,
but it happens with anybody, right? On any platform and any ecosystem.
I'm sure.
It's
Like Assets is a good example. People developed asset apps on standard because Assets wasn't on standard, and now it is on standard.
Yep.
And even Rovo is on standard. So there were a lot of apps which were developed on standard, which now doesn't need to exist.
Yeah, but going back to your question regarding Rovo, I don't necessarily see Rovo changing that within AGC, because I think there's two things at play. There is heritage information that some of these third-party apps are kind of storing, or a means of processing from either data center that customers now want in AGC. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we bought this app, it met a specific need, and now we still need that need in AGC. So I see a lot of that happening today.
That's what we are tapping into, by the way.
Right. But the thing too is that some of these apps actually are doing things more structurally within the Atlassian app.
Because it runs on Atlassian, yeah.
Exactly. So I'm not sure how much Rovo is really going to do from a structure standpoint versus now I have all this information and I'm able to bring this information and context to the user, but there still may be things that structurally, marketplace app vendors are like, hey, we see an idea of how we can do things with more like custom fields, or we have like analytics may be an opportunity to do stuff within there from a data warehouse standpoint. So again, I think there's Rovo's place is really right now in kind of understanding context and bringing all of that rich information within a customer's data set to users, versus where marketplace may be looking more like what can we do structurally to add more value to AGC.
Oh, it's hard. And I'm sorry, this might be another one. So are you also, because
I'm not going to make it home, am I?
so
Strap in, everybody.
one thing when we talk to the customers, especially the migration ones, right? The ones who are moving, we are doing number of migrations now. The one question which get asked, why do we need 30 apps, right? I'm just hypothetically speaking, and the logical reasoning they give is some of these apps are so workflow connected. Why doesn't Atlassian encourage marketplace guys to actually construct one app? Because it's honestly like a workflow, right? Like timesheets to go to this, to approval process, but there are 4 different apps which are connecting.
Sure.
How do you sort of see that? Is there going to be consolidation? We work closely with the customers. We see a lot of data center migration. We are also seeing cloud to AGC migration, like you said, the CMMC compliance. But one question always get asked in a lot of cases, I have 30 apps,
Mhm.
right? I mean, again, hypothetically speaking, and a lot of the apps are almost workflow connected. Why do I need all these? Why doesn't Atlassian encourages marketplace to create one app? So my question really is, are you seeing potential consolidation in the app space? Is that something Atlassian is looking at just to add more value to the
Sure.
customer, or what's your perspective?
Yeah, for sure. I'm not 100% on the consolidation aspect. Again, this is a competitive market, right? Where developers want to bring value and bring the best product, to work on our platform. So I'm not sure from an Atlassian standpoint if we're doing anything intentional to kind of support any type of consolidation. But what we are doing with customers is trying to determine what are the critical and most required apps to meet their business requirements. What we see from a field standpoint is a lot of growth of their platform on data center, very organic. Some of them, and these are customer statements to me, like we should have had more checks and balances on how apps were added to our platform. We would service anybody who asked for a particular app. So if 5 users needed app A, and then 10 users needed app B, and there was again that level of management, that's where we see a lot of growth in kind of the marketplace apps used on a particular platform. So what I do every day is work with customers to let's look at what's really critical, what majority of your users are using a particular app, and what are more the nice to haves, and then also determine what is natively offered now in cloud that wasn't on data center, that could also potentially meet your business requirements and your needs.
That's an important assessment.
Yeah. Now, I know the answer, but I think audience wants to know this thing. Because again, we get asked this question: is AGC apps which runs on Atlassian technically also FedRAMP then?
Okay, so
I'm sure you come across, and I know the answer, but it's
Yeah.
actually really good to cover this point.
So when we go through our AGC qualification guide, I ask the customer, are they willing to assess or conduct a risk assessment on their marketplace apps? Because today, what we have are marketplace app vendors who are updating their apps to make their apps compatible with AGC. So these are still commercial cloud apps. They've been updated to be able to talk to the various AGC endpoints, but they still may be processing data outside of AGC, so outside of what we call boundary. What we want is marketplace vendors to migrate those apps into the Forge environment,
Which
so
is
that'll
runs
be so that it's in boundary. So it's not having to leave our FedRAMP moderate bubble, right?
Yes.
So data storage or processing is all happening, from within the boundary.
For the audience, so there is obviously because it's within the boundary, there is a limitation on the data you can store at any given point, actually. But technically, if it runs on Forge and runs within Atlassian, it is compliant. Is that a fair statement?
You can claim that it's in the boundary.
Boundary, yeah.
Some customers are using that as a means of not having to go through a FedRAMP compliant process, knowing that the app will be living within the
this.
boundary.
But you would technically have to do it for each of the ones if not, right? You'd have to certify each app basically.
For each one.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a limit.
Honestly, I have a lot more questions, but I know we're out of time. I hope this session was helpful. Just to debrief, so now for the audience, whether you're a marketplace partner, a solutions partner like us, or you're a marketplace developer, you have choices. I hope this session was productive. Again, looking forward to the roadmap. There is IL5 coming. There is isolated cloud coming. I'm sure there is some planning happening for Europe GDPR as well. We'll continue to add more. Thank you very much, everybody.